All right. Aloha and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our HSMAI November event, A Kickstart to Change, A Better You at Home and at Work. We have an excellent presentation planned for you today. 2020 has been a year, right? A roller coaster of the year. So we have two excellent motivational and inspirational speakers who will be giving us some tips on how to deal with uncertainty and how to change in your career if needed today. So really excited to kick that off. Before we start, I did want to just do a couple of housekeeping announcements. First of all, as always, we are recording this presentation, just so you know. So at the end of the presentation, you will get an email link with the recorded presentation, as well as a survey. If you could take a couple of minutes, fill out that survey, let us know how you enjoyed the presentation today. We really would appreciate it. We very much value your feedback. We are actively preparing to plan for 2021. So to hear about anything that's interesting and needed and valuable for you would be really helpful for us as the board. Also, please save the date. We do have one more event for the year. We are planning a December holiday event. Sorry, I say save the date. I don't have the actual date. But just keep it in mind that you will see communications coming out shortly. We are planning to do a joint holiday event with MPI. It will be virtual. It'll be lots of fun. So I hope you'll be able to join us for that event as well. And last announcement, and kind of in theme with what we're talking about today, I know it's been a rough year. As such, HSMAI has some really great membership specials going on right now. So if you are at a point where you would like to renew your membership, there are membership specials that are going out through the end of the year. As a hotel member, usually it's $385 to join. Right now it's $150. And as a partner, it's typically $415, and the special pricing through the end of the year is $180. So a really great membership opportunity to continue to stay active with HSMAI or join us if you're not a member yet. After this, or maybe Julie, parent, would you mind finding that there is a special code that you can put in and a link to that membership information? So we'll make sure to share that in the chat with you so it's readily available for you. Okay, and without further ado, let's start our presentation today. We are going to start with Eric Sprinkle, and I'm very honored to introduce him. Eric is an avid adventurer, summiting active volcanoes in New Zealand, swimming with sea turtles in Guam, and kayaking among glaciers in Alaska, and has seen adventure's impact on people firsthand over and over again. He is a member of the National Speaker Association and a former swiftwater rescue instructor for the US military. He's also the founder of Adventure Experience and travels the US speaking on benefits of risk, challenge, and getting outside your comfort zone. Without further ado, I'll let Eric jump in. And just as also for questions, just so everybody knows, feel free to put any questions that you have in the chat as we go. Eric is going to kick us off, and then Theresa will follow, and then we'll leave some time for Q&A at the end of the presentation today. All right, thanks, Eric. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mari. Hey, aloha, everybody. Look at this. I know some of you guys are like a little bored or maybe a little Zoom fatigued out. Can I just say, I'm just aware of the magic of Zoom right now because I just woke up this morning, looked at a 14,000-foot peak covered in snow. You guys woke up this morning listening to the soft sounds of surf on, Waikiki. I'm just saying it is absolutely magical that you and I can get together, and why would we be doing it if not for a global pandemic? So, hey, congratulations, global pandemics. They're at least doing something kind of fun there. We are talking about Risk Taker's Guide to the Hidden Benefits of Uncertainty this morning. Uncertainty, that's exactly what the topic is this morning. Risk Taker, that's me. My name's Eric. So we'll be talking about all kinds of fun things here. but okay, I got one thing I want to get out of the way first. You guys are in Hawaii, I'm in Colorado. I don't want this to come up in the middle of the talk and be a problem or anything like that. So we're just going to get this out of the way right now. Can I just say, here in Colorado, we absolutely, positively, let me get my program right. We surf. Okay, I know you guys surf. I know you guys got the whole fundamental thing down, but I'm just going to say, in Colorado, we surf. You can see that wave right there. You see me on my boogie board right there. Yeah. Okay, and that's me catching the wave. We surf in Colorado. All right, I'm just going to say, and we can go back and forth. At the end of the day, we can talk about whether or not it's legit or whether it's real, because mine's a stationary wave and yours are moving. I get it. I'm just going to say, we also stand-up paddleboard, okay? So for everyone who just started the morning paddleboarding out by Diamond Head, we also have it here. We do it in rivers, of course. It's a little bit different, but yeah, we even have guys who will. Good luck to them. They will actually get the actual boards out on some of these waves. I'm just saying, they're not long boards, okay? They're very, very short, but. For the record, you guys can put it to rest. If you come to Colorado, we actually have surfing for you, and we're going to have a good time doing that. Now, I am also so glad to be back in Colorado because I was just on a huge road trip, you guys. I mean, when I say massive road trip, okay, you guys are like, ooh, Hawaiian road trip. Like, we ran over to Kaneohe and back. No. This was actually something kind of a little bit bigger, okay? This was actually the U.S., right? You talk about the mainland being kind of big. I just about went end to end on it, okay? So road trip, I don't know. What Google said, it was like 5,000 miles. I actually clocked in about 6,000 miles on this one. So basically, yeah, San Francisco to Honolulu, what is it? 23, 34. Okay, so basically you fly over, you forget your handbag, so you fly back, grab it, and then fly out again, something along those lines. But in this case, it's a road trip, so it's that really fun road trippy stuff, right? Where you're driving crazy roads in the middle of nowhere, you're catching the fall leaves, you're stopping at gas stations and eating really, unnutritious food. It's a road trip. It's what you do. In this case, I started there in Colorado Springs where I live, went up to the northwest, had an event up there that I did. And of course, I'm horsing around after the event because I'm just going to say, Montana is absolutely beautiful. Idaho too. Well, I didn't stay there very long before I drove across the Dakotas, which are the opposite of the beauty that is Montana. Sorry about that, Dakotas. But then I got over into Minnesota, Chicago, kind of more the heartland, if you will, the Midwest, where, it's a lot of fields, it's a lot of farms, it's a lot of lakes, and the leaves. Oh, the leaves are just beautiful. I'm kind of with you guys. We're in Colorado. We don't get the fall leaves like they do back east. It's absolutely beautiful, I got to say. But from there, I actually went down towards the actual coast. And if you're going to be that close to the ocean, why not just go a little further and jump in? So I got to actually jump in the Atlantic Ocean, not your ocean, the other one. And of course, because I'm me, I got to rappel on some humongous waterfall on the way. But all along the way, I was basically playing around, kind of taking the temperature, if you will, of the mainland, if you will. Just asking people everywhere I went, it's been 9 months of COVID. What's kind of the mood here? And what I guess what I really caught most people saying was along the lines of, we're just done with it. We're just done. We're just over it. It is so, it was really scary there at the very beginning. It was a little crazy at the beginning, but now we all kind of know what we're doing, and we're just tired of it. I'll throw that out to you. HSMAI Hawaii, what does it look like for you guys? Because I know, oh my gosh, you hotel folks, I know you got to be worn out trying to do the adaptations for everything. And yeah, restrictions in your work, oh yeah, you guys are getting hammered with it. Then you guys got the furloughs, then you got the layoffs, right? Oh, well, you know what? We'll have this undone. Just be patient with us. Wait till May. Oh, and then May comes and goes. No. Wait till August. No. And then wait till September. We'll get something going. No. Right? All this craziness you guys have going on. And then they canceled the annual HSMAI golf tournament. I ask you, this is when it got real, okay? So this is what we're gonna be talking about today, because at the beginning it was more anxiety. It was that disconnection. It was all the changes and isolation we had to deal with. Yeah, there was uncertainty, but you come back to 9 months later, uncertainty is still the factor that's going on in people's lives. That's what we're going to be looking at today, uncertainty and the benefits of it. You might ask yourself, are there benefits of uncertainty? I'm going to make a case that there is. So we'll see what goes on with that. The rules of engagement for my talks, very simply, if I see you with your phones out, that is absolutely fine. I expect them to be out. In fact, take photos of the slides, right? I have some slides very info heavy, right? Pretty info heavy. Others just pretty. Go ahead and snap those too. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Yes, I tried to use the most un-Hawaiian shots possible, but yes, some of them will slip in there. So you're allowed to clap. You're allowed to congratulate each other in the chat on, that was me. That's actually a photo of me this morning, whatever you guys want. You can also ask me where photos are taken. I tend to get that from most people because I use very photo-heavy slideshows, except for this one. You guys are not allowed to ask me what that one is because, hello, that's a night view of Honolulu. You guys should know exactly where that one is, okay? Also, be ready to capture some notes. We're going to be doing some note-taking type exercises here during my talk. You're going to be doing tons of them when my partner in crime, Theresa, gets at you. But as we're doing mine, I'm going to be the spark that is going to inspire you with all kinds of thoughts. Your cohorts are going to inspire you too. The way we're going to do that is capture your notes, but also maybe think about doing a little copy paste of those notes and putting them in the chat. That's right. We're using Zoom, you guys, and you may think Zoom is old, but there is one feature of Zoom that I really love. I got to admit, it's the idea that you and I can share things in the chat. And it's like a brainstorming session in our office where that guy said something and that girl said something, and neither one of them directly affect me, but hearing both of them made me think of something. You never know when the light bulb is going to go on. So I would encourage you guys, get in the chat and share some of what you're thinking in there with all your coworkers as well. This is just going to be amazing, you guys. So if you have Q&A questions, of course, everyone's telling you put them in there along the way too. You will have questions. Put them in there. We're going to catch all of them at the very end of the presentation. It's going to be fun. So who am I? Well, my name's Eric, and Mari, thank you so much for the opening. It's basically, you guys get the gist, right? I'm one of those guys. Those guys who are going a little too fast, standing a little too near the edge, doing things kind of crazy looking. Yes, that is true, but I also have a purpose behind it. I'm here in Colorado Springs, so that is the peak in my backyard there with one of the Thunderbirds flying across it. Thank you very much. I am a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. For those of you out there, HSMAI Hawaii, for those of you who have served or know someone, maybe over at Joint Base Hickam Pearl Harbor who has served, thank you all for your service today and tomorrow and on and on. I did work Swiftwater Rescue for the military. I also have something interesting. I'm also listed as a sponsor of the Southern Colorado HSMAI. That's right. I'm actually a photog for the Southern Colorado HSMAI chapter. So basically, yeah, I go to their meetings, kind of like your meetings, okay? I show up, and you got to understand, these guys, they all look fantastic, and they're all horsing around, having fun, and they're all smiling and looking beautiful. And then, of course, they go to like really beautiful places like the Broadmoor. Oh my gosh. And then my job is to photograph them and try and get good photos. And I could drop the camera and get a good photo of these guys, right? Are you kidding? So I'm just saying, if you guys don't have an official photographer for your meetings, you talk to Mari about it. I'm just saying, it's actually kind of fun because we actually get written up in some of the trade show blogs. Destination Colorado did an article on us having a photographer. We also got in some of the print magazines, right? I'm just saying it doesn't hurt if you've got someone around in your area who wants to, do some photos for you, let them. Oh, and by the way, just between you and me, hey, Mari, if you need me to come out and do your photographs for you, I can do that. We'll talk after the talk here. So I do this all under the auspices of Adventure Experience. That's my group, living a life that's challenging, exhilarating, and eye-opening. That is really what we're about. Do that a lot in my talks here where I'm talking about either getting outside your comfort zone by going to the edge of it and taking one more step. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm also a big fan of, here's the lessons from, outdoor adventure athletes. Here's things that they have, whether they're mountain climbers or swiftwater rescue instructors, maybe it's a rock climber who can teach you about something like focus or mindfulness. In this case, we're doing exactly that today. I'm going to take a page, though, from the experiential learning folks, and we're going to apply that to what we're talking about today with uncertainty. In this case, we're going to start off by some tips or tricks on if you still have some of that emotional craziness going on. Number one, you're allowed to. You're absolutely allowed to. Okay, I'm giving you permission. You can still have crazy days where you just kind of just have a good cry. That's okay. That's okay. It's still a little crazy, but I'm going to give you some tips on this. One is, can I just say, you guys, your mom was right, my mom was right, grandma was right, everybody was right. If you want to deal with some of this anxiety, just go outside. Go outside. It's absolutely amazing. You don't have to hang off the side of a cliff with a waterfall behind you. No, just go outside, okay? If you want to go down a rabbit hole sometime, go to Google and do health benefits of going outside. It'll take up the next 4 hours of your life. What I have for you is, I wrote an article one time, and it was titled, "If Nature Was a Pill, What Would Be the Side Effects?" Right? You get those ads, those drug ads, where they're talking about, hey, you should live more, and then here's what you should take to do it, and then here's the side effects, and they read them off really fast. So in that spirit, I wrote this article, and it was basically, if nature was a pill, here would be the side effects in my best TV voice. Going outside includes symptoms of easing anxiety, lessening symptoms of depression, interrupting negative thinking, boosting brain function, aiding creativity. Yeah, that's right. If you want to aid creativity or boost the performance of your work teams that are still in the office, you want to get a 20% boost for those guys? I'm telling you, put plants in the office. Plants. It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. The list goes on. Increasing our capacity for attention, reducing stress, increasing positive emotions, fully present. Yeah, that's right. When's the last time you were at a lunch and learn or an afternoon session with somebody and the speaker was talking about mindfulness? Yeah, that's exactly what you get. Going outside, it's absolutely insane, the impression you get from just going outside or looking at photos of being outside. Hey, Eric, why do you have all these nature photos in your slide deck? I wonder. So the odds are at the end of the talk here today, even if you've gotten nothing out of what I said, your blood pressure will still be lower because I have all these slides going by with nature photos in them. Now, the other way, if you want to get ahead of the problem, if you're like, yeah, okay, life is good, but you know it just goes on and on. What's something I can be doing proactively to get ahead of this thing? Okay, here's what you want. Focusing on others. Focusing on others, okay? What am I talking about that? Well, basically, the last time you helped your neighbor move his mattress or something like that, okay, unless it was a sleep number bed, and those are really heavy, but you probably noticed your stress level was not there. It came down. Why? Because you're not thinking about how stressed or scary life is. Right? When you're thinking about how stressed or scary you are, it's like one of those microphones when you get it too close to a speaker and you start getting that feedback, that whine. Same with you and me. It's that feedback loop, okay? I start thinking about how stressed I am and how I shouldn't be stressed, and that makes me stressed because I'm not. It's insane, guys. What you got to do is just focus on somebody else. Immediately takes your mind off your stress. It's absolutely incredible how this works. I'm talking about doing it with others. This is how we're going to get through this time, because if there was ever a better time to be inserting ourselves into other people's stories, I'm thinking right now. That's just me. You tell me how you would do that. Here's the key, though. Uncertainty, I'm going to say, equals opportunity. Uncertainty equals opportunity. Why? Because I do a lot of talks around changing things and changing things up. Okay, think about you. Think about the last time you started a new diet or maybe a New Year's resolution, okay? It probably had something to do with either your diet, it had something to do with more exercise, or it had to do with cleaning something up, right? One of those three things. That's usually what we do at the first of the year. Okay, all of those have one thing in common, though. You had to start with bad habits you were already doing before you implemented the new ones, right? So you had to start with, what were you currently doing that was not beneficial towards your health, towards your nutrition, towards your exercise? What were you doing that was cluttering up your life? You had to focus on that, and then you had to stop doing that thing, and then you could start the new habit, right? And does everybody remember how hard it was to stop, eating pizza every Friday night? How hard it was to stop, not doing what you were doing that was not good for your health? Okay, here's the thing. Here's the wonderful thing about the uncertainty that has embraced us. Guys, the hardest part of what's going on, it's already done that for you. Every bad habit you had has been shaken. Every good habit you have has been shaken. Everything you guys were doing has changed in some way, shape, or form, right? So we already get to fast forward to the, I've gotten rid of what I was doing before. Now I start with the new. How many people recognize this? Jump in on the chat if you recognize where this is, okay? Yeah, okay. So Hanauma Bay, right? It's down the south end of the island. It's a beautiful place to go snorkeling. Yeah, it's also probably full of tourists, but not like Waikiki full of tourists, so it's not too bad. How many of you guys have on your list at some time or another to go down to Hanauma Bay and just go circling and just go chase the fish around, right? Right? Snorkeling Hanauma Bay, it's on your list, right? How often do you do it? I'm guessing, you don't have to tell me, I'm guessing there's a discrepancy by how often you want to, by how often you actually do. Now, here's another fun thing. How many times do you have friends come into town and they say, we want to go snorkeling at Hanauma Bay? And you're like, boom, let's do it, man. We haven't been there in forever. And you end up down there and you're having a great time and you remember how beautiful it is down there. But you don't do it until friends come to town, right? Why is that? That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. The idea that breaking out of the old routine, right? It's so comfortable at home and we're so set up at home, and our Saturdays, boy, we got them booked for the next 6 weeks. We can't just bust out and go snorkeling at Hanauma Bay. Thank you very much. But what if circumstance breaks you out of that mold? What if circumstance blows up your schedule and now anything goes? Now suddenly you can go to Hanauma Bay, you can go do whatever you're gonna do, you can go have fun doing it, and it's not that big of a deal because what you would have been doing anyway is already gone. Even better, we are always too close to our own day-to-day to objectively assess the opportunities available to us. What do I mean by that? I mean, we are in our day-to-day, right? We are right here at ground level looking at what's going on in our lives, and we sometimes forget about those things around us. As people who live in Washington, D.C., when's the last time you went and toured the monuments? Oh, well, we've always wanted to, right? It's like, yeah, go watch the sunset on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. How often do they do it? Never. Why? Because it's always there. It's always accessible. We just don't think about it. But if friends come to town, immediately we go over to the Lincoln Memorial and we're eating ice cream, watching the sunset over the mall. It's beautiful and it's right there, but we don't take advantage of it until somebody else comes in. Circumstance can break that routine, or we can break that routine, because I guarantee if I come to town and you're hanging out with me, I'm immediately going to be like, let's go to the North Shore. Let's go watch the waves on the North Shore, right? Let's go absolutely have some fun here. Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. When people come in and break your routine, when circumstance breaks up your routine, that's when uncertainty turns into opportunityville for you. So what are some of those opportunities? Well, hello. You've been after your boss to work remotely for months, maybe years, and now all of a sudden you're doing it. And what about your commute, right? I don't know about your guys' commute, but I'm talking to a guy in Minnesota who says, Eric, it's like I got an extra hour and a half into every day because I'm not commuting anymore. Absolutely amazing. So let's process this. Let's take a few minutes and quick process what those opportunities are. Get you thinking about some of those. Again, this is the experiential learning model. This is something you get from those folks who go out on backpacking trips and then, discuss, what they were doing in their lives before and what they're, doing now. And as a result of it, it's kind of what we're going to be doing. So here's the question. All right. So you guys are automatically doing some stuff differently just because of circumstance coming in and just wiping out all of what we were doing before. It's probably your sleep cycle, travel budget probably hasn't budged in a while. You're eating differently, you're sleeping differently, your schedule's crazy. That commute, maybe it's there, maybe it isn't. Tons more time with your kids. I got a gal who told me, Eric, I just discovered the best times in my day, the most productive times in my day, 10 to midnight. She never knew it before. She was always up at 5 a.m. to get her kids off to school. She never knew it before. All of a sudden, now we got some freedom. People are downsizing, right? Do you really think all the remote workers are going to come back into your office after this? No way, Jose, right? I got one group. Hey, you're using half your building, we're using half our building. How about if we sell our building, come in with you, and we use the boardroom in the middle, once a week? Absolutely. Got another gal? I don't know what's going on with my kids for school this year. So you know what? She bought an RV. She's doing school on the road, right? She's going to let some park ranger somewhere tell her kids about animals. She's not even signing up for school this year. I don't know about you, but so many people I'm talking to on this road trip and here in town, they took all this time at home to get a dog. They redid their kitchen. So many things going on. So here's the question for you. What are you doing that you want to keep doing going forward? Is it reading? Is it being more intentional about the outdoors? Is it taking up a new hobby? Hey, you're not paddleboarding now, but you could be instead of going to the gym. Up to you. Got a lot of people I'm talking to. What are they noticing, I asked? More gratitude in the little things. More intentional about being active. People are walking more, and they're walking with people they know. And yeah, so many people are telling me their friends got a puppy. Here's the last one. What are you doing? What have you picked up in this time that maybe you want to eliminate from your life? I've actually talked to so many people who said, yeah, over the summertime, I picked these bad habits up. Now I've gotten rid of them. Too much TV, too much news, right? Binging stuff, fasting the news, intermittent fasting on your meals, right? Maybe I'm going to listen to more educational podcasts instead of the junky ones. And yes, I did run into more than one person. They just can't make it through the day without that wonderful, wonderful glass of cab in the afternoon. I'm saying, guys, I hear you. One, maybe make it one glass, whatever it is you're trying to eliminate. And then let's integrate those results. As you're thinking through how you're going to change things up, here's the question you want to ask. What is the very next, most logical, most specific, most realistic step you can take? That's where we want to go next. That's what we want to do with what you're thinking about there. Obvious, practical next steps. Change your alarm. Change it, don't set it, go to bed earlier, go to bed later. Stop that late night snacking, get the dog, get the puppy, get the kitten, right? Limit your news or social media, spend time with your kids, spend time with your spouse, spend 4 hours each week in personal projects. You've seen what happened to Google and Apple when they give their employees 4 hours every Friday to work on personal projects. Yeah, amazing things. Reinvent your workday, reinvent your dress code, reinvent your workout routine. Instead of going to the gym, I'm going to go stand up paddleboarding with my friends twice a week now. Read a book for fun, not for research, right? Take more photos. Take photos of being in the moment, writing letters, writing postcards, whatever it is. You guys have a chance to kickstart something new in your life. Hesitation? Not your friend. Take it from an adventure speaker. Hesitation is not your friend, but momentum is. See what those around you are doing, follow them. Use their momentum to get you interested in what's going on. You start up, you keep doing it day after day, and again, if you need help, you drag a friend along. They're gonna keep you accountable, they're gonna inspire you, they're a force multiplier. You're just having more fun that way. Because in the end, you guys, so many people will have stood back and watched as others completely reinvented themselves, their work process, their social life, their relationships. Don't let it be you. Find out what's holding you back, blow through it, and get on with what's happening here. Here's the wrap up. You got past disruptors, right? Everybody has come at you and said they're going to change how your industry is going to work, how you're going to work, right? Digital photography said that cool shots of Waikiki were going to go away. No, beautiful shots of Waikiki are still there. Ladies and gentlemen, all those disruptors in the past have come and gone. This one is going to come and go. Because it's not, right? It's not when things are going good that we find out what you and I have. It's when they are chaotic. So when you look at the wind and the waves and you're saying it looks kind of crazy, you're gonna have a lot of people stepping back, standing on the sidelines, avoiding the change. Maybe you're gonna choose to embrace it. Maybe you're going to listen to what my cohort Theresa has going on, and you're going to put everything into it, because this is the time to make those changes. This is the time to change up how you're doing things. This is the time to look at those look at the wind, look at those waves, and say to yourself, no, I'm not going to stand back and watch it. Instead, let's grab the boards and let's go surfing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get next to somebody right now, this is when you get to high five them. My name is Eric. Adventure is my brand. We got my partner in crime, Theresa, ready to get you wound up with some serious stuff going on. Thank you, mahalo, and Mari, I think we're going to toss it back to you. I will catch you guys at the Q&A at the end.
Wow, thank you so much, Eric. That was so inspirational. Some really, really great tips about trying to be more intentional with your time. I don't know about anybody else, but I definitely have island fever. So seeing all your beautiful pictures of everywhere else besides, well, even Hawaii too, but to be anywhere else off the island just looks like so much fun. So thank you so much for getting us started with all that inspiration. Just like Eric said, if you have any questions for him as we transition and switch gears to Theresa, feel free to drop them in the chat and we will do a fun little Q&A at the end of today's session. So without further ado, I'd like to now introduce to you Theresa White. She is a professional career coach, and she's going to show us and talk to us today about three secrets for navigating a challenging job market with confidence. Theresa is a career coach, job search strategist, and the founder of Career Bloom, which is at careerbloomcoaching.com. Drawing on her recruiting, human resources, and management background, as well as her extensive international experience, she helps women and men realize their potential and find a career that they'll love. And with that, go ahead. Thanks, Theresa. Welcome.
Thank you, Mari. Uncertainty is stressful. There's nothing worse than not knowing who you are, what your next steps should be, and how you will reach your goals. Thinking back, just 11 short months ago to the beginning of this year, I had a plan. I knew exactly where my life and my career were supposed to go this year. Now, my background is with enterprise rent-a-car in human resources and recruiting. I just had my baby, and at the beginning of this year, I was excited and ready to get back to work. I was interviewing for talent manager positions, and there was no question in my mind that I will hit my 5-year goal of becoming an HR director. But then the pandemic hit. All of my plans were shattered. I felt powerless, fearful, and even anxious. I didn't know where to go next. And that uncertainty forced me to take a deep dive, and an honest one, into my strengths and my skills. I kept asking myself, who am I? What is my career purpose? And how will I reach my goals now? And through that self-assessment, I started to find answers. I realized the value and the skills I earned from my human resource and recruiting experience. I also realized how much I love helping others in their job search. And then I connected with the right people, and it all came together. Today, I run my own company, Career Bloom. And every day I get to do what I love doing most. And that is empowering women to find a career that they will love. And that's what I want to talk to you today. How you too can emerge from this time of uncertainty with clarity on what your skills are, knowing what your next steps can be, and having a strategy of how to achieve your career goals. So let me share my screen with you. So today, we will talk about the 3 secrets to navigating a challenging job market with confidence. First, we will talk about knowing your transferable skills. Second, how to gain clarity on your next career steps. And third, I will share what it means to have an effective career search strategy. These 3 steps will help you to be successful no matter what your situation is. It's possible that during this difficult year, you might have been furloughed or laid off, and you might be looking for a temporary position. Or you might be looking for permanent employment with another company here in Hawaii. Or it's possible that you are open to remote work and are considering work with a mainland company. But it's also possible that with tourism picking back up, you might still be working for your previous company and are looking for a lateral career move, or maybe even a promotional one. In any of those situations, the 3 steps can help you achieve your goals. So let's talk about number 1, knowing your transferable skills. When I went through my time of uncertainty, I started with a self-assessment. The questions that I asked myself were, what problems have you successfully solved? What would not have been accomplished at your current or last position if it would not have been for you? What are you proud of? And what makes you unique? And that self-assessment helped me to find answers. I realized that in my recruiting experience, each year I scanned over 10,000 resumes. I interviewed 1,000 candidates and hired more than 250 new employees. And the skills I gained from doing that were knowing how to identify skills and strengths in people, knowing when a person is a perfect match for a position. I know how to build a network to attract strong quality candidates. And I also know how the applicant tracking system works. That's the software that scans your resume when they get submitted online. And I know how to get a resume past it. And then I realized that those skills were truly transferable skills and the skills I need to be a successful career coach. And just like me, you too have within you right now everything that you need to be successful. Because especially as hospitality professionals, you have a wealth of transferable skills. Let's look at a couple of examples. One transferable skill, one of the most universally transferable skills that you gain from working with customers are problem-solving skills. Because what do you do when you work with customers? Well, on a day-to-day basis, you have to handle difficult, unexpected, or complex situations. And then, often on the fly, you have to make decisions quickly, be resourceful, and find creative solutions. And these problem-solving skills are highly transferable skills. They are sought after across all industries, from all different companies and positions. Or how about a second example? Leadership. Have you ever managed a project, a team, or even a department? Of what size? Are you able to delegate effectively? Can you motivate others? Have you taken the lead and responsibility for a team to accomplish a goal or an objective? If so, that is another transferable skill that is highly sought after in a variety of industries and fields. Let's cover a third example, sales. I like talking about sales as a transferable skill because sales requires such a specific mix of hard and soft skills in order to be effective. It's not enough to know your product. You also have to be able to persuade others, to build relationships. You have to know how to acquire and retain clients. So ask yourself, when have you used those skills in order to make or save your company money? And how much was that? Those are the transferable skills that you want to find within yourself. And once you identified them, you want to communicate them consistently on your resume, on your LinkedIn profile, on your cover letters, when networking, in career conversations, and of course in job interviews. Knowing your transferable skills is a very important first step, but it is not enough. You also need to know how to be clear on your next career steps. So let's talk about secret number 2. And that is having clarity on your next career steps. And today I will share with you a tool that is highly effective. It is a document, a career framework that describes the work that you would like to pursue in the future. Before I walk you through the steps of how to complete your career framework, let me share with you a short story that illustrates and just how effective this tool can be. So not too long ago, I was working with a client. She used to be an operations manager at a travel company, but like many, she lost her job due to this pandemic. She knew that in the immediate future, the travel industry she wasn't able to go back to it. Working with me, we identified her interests, and she realized that nutrition is her other big interest, and she would have loved to work for a nutrition company, but she didn't have any experience in that industry. So we started to get her going to talking to managers and decision makers within that industry. She was really learning more about the industry and what the careers in that field look like. And then she had a Zoom call scheduled with the manager at a company she really, really would want to work for. She asked the manager a bunch of questions about his company, the career path, the industry, and the industry trends. And then she also got an opportunity to share what she's looking for in her next career. The manager was really impressed by how clearly she was able to communicate that. And he asked, "Do you have that written down anywhere?" She's like, "Yes, I do. I actually have a career framework. Would you like to see it?" He was, "Yes, please." She puts the document into the Zoom chat box. He opens it, reads it. He's quiet and thinks and says, "I'm going to end the call now, but I'll get back to you." But first, she was disappointed because she was really looking forward to talking to this manager more and building her network. But she thought she said something wrong, or something must have gone wrong that he just ended the call. But then, just 30 minutes later, her phone rings. The manager is on the line and says, "You know, I was really surprised to see the career framework or the document that you sent me, because a week ago, me and my partners were talking, and we were talking about adding a position to our team. And more than half of the bullet points that are listed on your document that you sent me are what we wanted this person to do that we want to bring on. So I thought about it, and I would like to interview you for the position. Are you interested?" No, she couldn't believe it. She just secured herself an interview in an industry that she had no prior experience in. They haven't seen her resume up to that point, and the position wasn't posted or even advertised yet in any way. A week later, she interviewed with a panel of managers, and now she's been working there for the last 3 weeks, and she's loving every day of it. And that is the power of being able to clearly communicate what you're looking for in your next career move. So now I want to share with you how you can put together a career framework for yourself. Because I really believe in how powerful and effective this tool is, I'm going to ask you to put a career framework together for yourself and then email it to me within the next week. So by Tuesday, the November 17th, I would love to see a career framework from every single one of you, because I do want to hold you accountable to completing this task. So let's walk through the steps of how to do this. First of all, you want to do research and review job postings. You can find jobs anywhere online, such as Indeed, LinkedIn Jobs, Glassdoor, or Age Careers, for example. And then you want to look up the jobs, not just by job title, but also by your strengths or by your interests. And when you read through the job descriptions, you are looking for sections or bullet points within that job description that explain something that is something that you want to be doing next in your career. When you find a sentence or a bullet point that describes something you find interesting, you know how to do, and you want to continue doing it, you copy paste that section or that bullet point into a blank Word document. And you keep going till you reviewed at least 10 job postings and have at least 2 pages of copy paste bullet points and sentences. And that's time for step number 3, and that's to edit down your list. First of all, merge similar bullet points together, and then narrow it down to the 12 to 18 most important bullet points that describe what you want to be doing next. Last step, number 4, is to match the bullet points to your transferable skills that you identified before. Now, let me show you an example of how this is going to look like. Here's a career framework example. On top, there's nothing but your name and your contact information, phone number, email address, and ideally your LinkedIn URL. In this example, the transferable skills I chose as headlines are strategic leadership, relationship management, and marketing communication. And then underneath are your bullet points that describe something that you want to be doing next. Of course, this is a shorter example. I'm asking you to include 12 to 18 bullet points, but those wouldn't have fit on the slide. And once you're done, of course, you email it to me by next week. But then you also want to use this document in networking, career conversation, or job interviews. Because the best thing about this career framework is not just that it communicates what you're looking for in your next career step, but also that it communicates it in business speak. It's in the same language that recruiters and hiring managers are looking for, that the language they understand and the language they speak. It's written like a job description. And that's what makes this tool so effective. Now, earlier, when I told you the story about my client, you might have been wondering, how did we get her talking to managers at the company that she really wanted to work at? Let's move to secret number 3, and that's having an effective job search strategy. But first, let me tell you, at the beginning of my career, over 10 years ago, I was convinced that if I'm qualified and competent, I don't need any help in my career search. Definitely don't need to network. I just need a resume that has all my skills and experience, education on it. I submit that online and I'll get a job, right? Well, 7 months later, I was still unemployed. And I learned the hard way that that does not work. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. So let me share what I've learned since then. And that is that actually only 20% of jobs even get advertised. 80% of jobs are filled through relationships, through the connections people have within a company, and through networking. It's often referred to as the hidden job market. In the hidden job market, we target that by networking. But now we're in the middle of a pandemic. How do we go about networking when we can't go to a networking event and meet people in person? We're stuck at home and have to figure this out from in front of our screens. There are many different tools, but I want to share one with you today, and that is LinkedIn. I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn, and I could talk about this for the next hour, but I'll promise to keep it short. First of all, if you are not on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn today. And you have to have a great profile. If you are on LinkedIn, make sure that your profile is updated. I don't have the time today to talk about how to create a great profile, but if you need help with that, feel free to reach out to me later. I'm more than happy to provide you with some resources there. Once you have your profile, it's ready to really use the platform. Because I'm sure the salespeople here in the audience, they have the best understanding of what the difference between a cold call and a warm call is. A cold call in networking terms or in job search terms would be sending your resume to a complete stranger and asking them for a job. You might be able to guess that it's not an effective strategy. It's not going to work. So what do we do to warm up our networking contacts? That's step number 1, being active and engaging with content. Now, first of all, you want to find people that you want to build a relationship with. Find the people who do what you want to be doing, who do what's written on your career framework. Then find the people one level above that, the hiring managers for those positions. And then also find people within your industry, within your field, that are very active on LinkedIn and share a lot of content. And then you want to comment on their posts. Because what happens when you comment on something on LinkedIn? 2 things. First of all, you gain visibility because your comment is seen by all the followers they have. So if they have 1,000 followers, your comment is seen by potentially 1,000 people within your industry. That's really powerful, especially on LinkedIn. And second, you start a relationship. It takes about 3 times of you commenting on someone's post until they start recognizing your name and have a somewhat positive association with it. And at that time, you can move to step number 2, and that's to build the relationship. You send them a connection request alongside a note. Always send notes with your connection requests, please. And in the note, write something that would make them excited to respond back to you. Can you thank them for advice they shared? Can you compliment on a blog post they just wrote? Or can you provide value to them by referencing an article or sending them a link to an article that might be interesting to them? The goal is to get a conversation going via message. And that goal and the conversation should be about building a relationship and getting advice. You're not asking for a job at that point. You don't ask strangers for a job. That usually doesn't go down too well. So once you build that relationship via message going back and forth, it's time for step number 3, and that's to ask for an informational interview. So in your next message, you can include something like, I really find the advice you're sharing with me so valuable, and I would love the chance to get to talk to you on a Zoom video call. Would you have 10 minutes so I can ask you 5 questions to schedule a call? If you give them a specific number of questions and time, they're most likely to respond positive to your request because they know they're not going to be stuck on the call with you for the next 3 hours. And then once you get them on the Zoom call, again, you're going to focus on getting advice. You're not asking for a job. So first, ask questions about their industry, their position, their company, industry trends. And then there are 2 really important questions I want you to ask. You first share what is written on your career framework, what you're looking for in your next career move. And then you ask, what would you call this position at your company? The first thing you want to find out is that job title. And then the second question you want to ask, who would you talk to? Who would you suggest I talk to continue my research? Because you want to leave that conversation with at least 1 or 2 additional names that now you have a warm lead to reach out to and expand your network to. After the conversation, make sure that you keep the conversation going. Follow up with a thank you note and stay in touch. And these kind of informational interviews and relationship and networking are going to be your most effective job search strategy. All right, we covered lots of material today, so let's recap. Today, we talked about knowing your transferable skills and about the wealth of transferable skills you as hospitality professionals have. Second, we talked about gaining clarity on your next career steps through building a career framework. And third, we talked about having an effective career search strategy by using LinkedIn for remote networking. And those were the 3 steps that I used to move myself from the times of uncertainty to a time of success. Now, I am thankful for having gone through this time of uncertainty because it forced me to discover myself, to realize that I had the skills I needed. It forced me to rethink my career future and allowed me to connect with amazing people. And I'm so happy to say that I'm now more fulfilled and more successful than ever before. And I created my ideal future out of what I already had. And you too can turn your uncertainty into opportunities because you have within you right now everything you need to be successful. So thank you so much for inviting me to speak to all of you today. I would love to keep the conversation going with every single one of you. You can reach out to me via email at Theresa@careerbluecoaching.com. Please remember to send me your career framework by next week. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I share daily career and job search advice there. And you can also visit my website, careerbluecoaching.com, where I have information about the one-on-one career coaching programs that I offer. As I already mentioned, my specialty is in empowering women in their career search. So I might not be the right career coach for everyone here in the audience, but if you are looking for help in your career or job search, I work within a larger network of career coaches, and I'm more than happy if you reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with a career coach who is an expert in your specific situation. So no matter what, you reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with someone great. So I know the environment we're going through right now is challenging, but I really hope that the tools I shared with you today have given you the confidence that you have what you need to be successful. Thank you. Now it is time for the Q&A section of our presentation, and I'm going to hand it back over to Marie.
Thank you so much, Theresa. That was really excellent as well. Yes, round of applause. So many great actionable tools,
like,
and
you know, bringing business back. That's the motivation.
Theresa and Eric. Well, let's see.
I don't know.
I'm gonna ask that you guys. Let me see. I'm gonna just mute here. Okay, so let's jump into Q&A. I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes. Looks like we have some great questions that are coming in. Theresa, actually, why don't we kick off with you just as a follow-up as we ended your presentation. You know, you describe yourself as a career coach. Can you talk a little bit more about, you know, what does that mean if somebody's going to come to work with you? What do they need to have to come to be prepared to work with you? What can they expect? Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yes, of course. So for my career coaching, I work with clients one-on-one, and it looks like we meet once a week for an hour via Zoom. For Hawaii, of course, if it wouldn't be for the pandemic, I would be meeting in person, but that's what we can do right now, given the circumstances. So it's a 1 hour Zoom call a week, and then we stay in touch throughout the week and work via email through action steps. And the things I help clients in my coaching are, I'm a strengths-based coach. So first we identify your strengths and your skills and use that to build a really strong personal brand. We get clear on your career goals. So some of the things that I shared with you today. And then the other things I help my clients with, having an effective career search strategy that of course includes networking, but also building a great resume, having a great LinkedIn profile, having good cover letters. We do a lot of interview training, mock interviews, and then I also do salary negotiations. Is that kind of answering your question?
Yeah, I think that's great. And you had your information there for anybody who wants to reach out, and also a really, really nice offer for people to go through your career framework and have somebody who can hold you accountable. Wow. So if you, well, we can put that slide up maybe again, and then everybody will have your information, and we'll also send it at the end as well.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to take Theresa up on her offer, you know where to find her, email or LinkedIn. And next question, Eric, this question is for you. Besides just do it, are there any techniques you can use to push yourself out of your comfort zone that you recommend?
Yeah, you know what? I'm a big fan of anything getting close to the edge of your comfort zone works for me. Start small, right? If you can, every little risk makes the next one easier, the next one easier, the next one easier, right? And you never know when one of those is going to be life changing. So, you know, anything, if risk taking is a muscle, exercise the muscle, whatever it looks like, right? You can just go to your restaurant and order something a little bit different, right? Get it spicy, okay, or whatever. Yeah, go, if your friends invite you to go out paddleboarding and you've never done it before, go do it anyway. You know what? Just kneel down on the paddleboard. Don't try and be cool like those guys, right? Just do whatever your thing is. But doing things outside your comfort zone makes it easier to do the next thing outside your comfort zone. And the key here, I'm just going to say the key here is this. Okay, so you're going to watch my hands as a visual here. Okay, if you believe that this is your limit, okay, just understand we are so terrible at estimating ourselves, our limitations, what we like, what we don't like. Come on, how many times has somebody taken you somewhere and you know you're going to have a terrible time? You know what? Actually, you had a good time. And then, hey, try this food. I'm going to hate that food. No, actually, that food is actually really good, right? We do it all the time. We are terrible at self-estimation. So usually our limitations are usually right about here, right? And so we get to play anywhere in here and we're fine. But when you start to push that boundary, the idea is you start to move it out here and you go a little further and a little further. And you know what? It's actually fine. It's only when you get out here that you really notice that, yeah, this is really getting bad. So I'm a big fan of whatever you're doing, go one step further. And if you go one step further and you're still comfortable, maybe doing one step further, do that. If you're not, you can stop right there. But the idea is every time you go one step further, you move that boundary a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Now, here's the key. Before, you kind of would go around here because you didn't know where that benefit was. You didn't know where the boundary was, so you didn't want to push it. So you kind of stayed over in here. But now when you know your boundary is right here, you have from here all the way out to here, you can move around in this and you can do it safely. You can do it freely. You can do it anxiety free. So that could be your relationships at work. That could be networking. That could be anything. But you just got to exercise it. So here's one for you. Next time you're at a networking event in person, live, right? Okay, you're doing the strip steak networking event, whatever. Here's your thing for you. Okay, Mari, you can hold these guys accountable. Go find someone who doesn't look like you, doesn't talk like you, doesn't dress like you. Go over to that person and extend a hand. Okay, 3 questions. That's all I ask. 3 questions. And if they don't want to talk to you and it's just not working out, you're done. Bail, go back, talk to your buddies. But go up to just do anything that kind of flexes that muscle. That's what I would recommend is the easiest way to make it a little more better. You don't have to dive immediately in the deep end.
Love that. And I guess as a follow-up, Eric, we're talking about kickstarting, right? And I'd love to know from you, have you always been this adventurous? Was there something that for you personally kickstarted you to get out of your own personal comfort zone?
I have always been pretty adventurous. I think, I don't know, it has, okay, has anybody seen Free Solo with Alex Honnold, right? He went and climbed, did that crazy climb, the free rider route in El Capitan. He did it without ropes, without any kind of protection. In the movie, they talk about, there's the frontal cortex where you do like your problem solving and your language skills and your math skills. And then there's this amygdala, and that's in the middle of your head, and that's where you get your fear response. Okay, so apparently Alex Honnold, they did an MRI on him, and they're like, your amygdala is not fully developed. You actually don't know how to be scared very well. And he's like, huh, interesting. Yeah, as he's like, hanging by his fingers off, the edge of a cliff. So I don't know. Some of us have a little more poorly developed amygdalas than others, but either way, I was always that kid that was like running out ahead and let's just go do it. And oh yeah, God looks out for fools and children. I'm kind of both.
Actually, I have one more question, and this is for both of you. We're talking about uncertainty. We're talking about how to come out of that, and so much of that is just related to some of the things that is out of everybody's control this year, right? So I would turn that back to both of you and say, for you, I guess it's twofold. What is your silver lining for 2020 personally out of everything that's happened? And then you guys gave us so many great tips and so many good takeaways that we can go with us. If you could only choose one, what's worked best for you, and what would you say, get out of here and go do this today?
Go first, Eric.
Me, okay. You know what? I'm gonna do a little switcheroo. I'm gonna give you my favorite takeaway from Theresa. Theresa, okay, you nailed it on the head. You and I, right, we do speaking. So much of what we talk about is just reminders to you guys. It's not like you don't know this stuff. We're just reminding you of some of this good stuff. But one of them you reminded me of, go ask for advice. Don't ask them for a job. Ask them for advice. When you're soliciting these people, make the conversation about them. That is such a great idea. And we always we know to do this and we've been told to do this and we forget about it. So yeah, Theresa, I love that takeaway from you more than anything. I don't know if you have your own favorite takeaway from you, or you can do one from me if you want.
I'll choose one from your presentation. I think for me, it's getting out of your comfort zone. That's so powerful, and it's all about changing your mindset. Because it's so hard to be stuck in that uncertainty and all the negative emotions that we've been going through this year. And changing your mindset makes such a huge difference. So going on an adventure like Eric, doing something that you haven't done before, getting out of your comfort zone, I think can be really, really powerful to move towards, take the next steps to a more powerful, successful future.
Outstanding. And you know, guys, if you're like, oh, so I got to jump off a cliff? No. Do I have to go paddleboarding? No. Just, okay, if you want to do something a little uncomfortable, go do Theresa Snapshot and get it to her by Tuesday, and follow. You got a career coach offering you freebies. It's like, do it. Do that. If it makes you a little nervous, that's perfect. That's exactly where you want to be. That's my silver lining to people. Like, yeah, you guys, you have these opportunities, and we hold off and we take a deep breath and we say, well, I could do that anytime. No, do it right now, today. This is where Mari, this is where I do say, no, jump off the cliff, do it, and see what happens.
Absolutely, I love that. I think, and hopefully one day soon, Eric, we'll see you jumping on a plane and you can come do some photography for us out here.
Right.
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm ready to jump in the ocean, go on a hike, and get out there, get a little active. Thank you so much to everybody for joining us. Thank you especially to Eric and Theresa for the excellent and very inspirational presentations today. We appreciate your time. Take care, everybody, and until next time, aloha.